In software engineering, we are taking chapter number 6, Human Aspects of Software Engineering. We are following the book from Pressman and Maxim. So software engineering is a science, is a subject in computer science, and it has a lot of techniques, tools, method, and this is all for making of good software. So how to improve the software, process. You have to make a software or an app or website. So we are talking about software as a final product. But software is developed by whom? By people like you and me. Who use it? People like you and me. And this software is all about people. Because if we are not there, who will use the software? So the human characteristics, human thoughts, human behavior, human cooperation is a key to actual software development. If you don't have a skilled work, if you don't have people who are motivated, how are you going to get this success? Success will be unlikely. The environment, the people, the interaction, everything is important. What are the characteristics of a software engineer? That is, some peculiar properties, some traits which makes you a good software engineer. So if you are a software engineer, just a software engineer, you might be some graduate in computer science field. So basically you are using your technical stuff, what you have read. You are learning, applying these skills because you need to understand the problem. It's all about problem solving because software is a problem and you need to provide solution to the customer. So you are actually building the software. You are testing it because you have to ensure the quality also. But equally important here is the human aspect, because technical aspect is very important. But as a human being, as a human who is working to develop a software in the field of software, because there were many people there. So Erdős, he identified 7 different characteristics, traits, properties. When a software engineer, he becomes a super software engineer, or you can say he becomes a super professional in the field of software development. So what are the behavior he is showing? What are the traits important to him? The first thing is a super professional person. He takes individual responsibility. That is, as a software engineer, you have some work in your hand. You have promised something. You are promising to your peers, in team, stakeholders, management. So your individual responsibility is important. Acute awareness. See, if you're driving a car, you see here and there, the car may some mishap may occur. So if you are in HCL or TCS, any good company, now there is an environment, so you have to be very aware of the environment and how to behave there. So observation and behavior aspect change is important. Brutally honest. That means if the design is wrong, the code is not good, you can very honestly, respectfully point out the problems, flaws, and this has to be a good criticism because it's all about constructive software development. If somebody comes to you, like your manager, etc., the management, and says, let us change the schedule, or say 50 requirements are there and we just have done 40, claim 45, just say 45 or 48. Or some performance issues, they can tell you that, okay, some file transfer is there and 5 Mbps speed they have asked. and we are getting around 3. So you can claim that it's as good as 5. So there are certain things, you need to be very truthful and realistic in just denying it. Resilience under pressure. If you are a super professional software engineer, so pressure, chaos, frenziness, it comes in many forms. Because as a software engineer, and even as a human being, you will always be under certain pressure in your life. Because the requirements are changing, the priorities of the user is changing because of the changing environment, the business environment, and the demand which stakeholders put in front of you. They may be unrealistic, or the manager is putting all the pressure on you. So you don't have to succumb to this pressure. You have to be a resilience, you have to take that pressure. That is, you should not suffer. Your performance should not suffer. Sometimes people don't work or can't work in the pressure. Heightened sense of fairness. As a good person, individual, you have to share the credit, and you can just give the credit to your peers, to colleagues gladly. Just try to avoid any kind of conflict of interest, because people work, they want their credit. So just give them credit. Attention to detail. See, actually, you are a technocrat. So everything is important. Performance, you have to see the cost. The quality should be highest. So the time, cost, schedule, performance, functional, non-functional requirements, all these have to be very keenly seen and to be implemented. Okay? Pragmatic. Pragmatic means, see, it's not Hinduism or Islam that you cannot change anything. It's there, so you have to follow it. Whatever people say, you have to follow it without any logic. But here, it's all about logic, making a software. So you need to adapt according to the circumstances, environment, changes. When waterfall model came, everyone was so happy. Oh my God, what a model it is there. But today, who is using waterfall model? Most of the people are using extreme programming, Scrum, and there is other variety of models they are using. So changes always occur. The psychology of software engineering. So what is the intent, thought behind the software engineering? Here we have Bill Curtis and Deanne Walls. So in this seminal paper on the psychology of software engineering, these two eminent people, they suggested a layered behavior model for software development, and that they presented in their seminal paper. Okay, because software engineering is not all about product, tool, techniques. There has to be some behavioral model also. So there is a problem because you are solving a problem. Software is a problem. You are providing a solution, which is a software. So there are individuals. Individual makes a team. Then there is a project under which this team work. The company in which this project is coming, and then the business environment. So at an individual level, the software engineering psychology is all about knowing the problem, applying the problem solving skill, and then how to do or how to implement the solution within the constraints which are put up by the outer layer, which are the business environment, company, etc. At the team and project level, these two levels, the group dynamics becomes a very important and dominating factor. Because here people are involved, how they're interacting, how they're working. So here the communication, collaboration, coordination, because you are as an individual, how you're communicating with the, say, project manager, developer, how they are talking, the project manager and the stakeholders, how they are talking, how they are getting the information, how they are, deploying, etc. At the outer layers, if you go, the organization behavior it governs the action of the company, and its response to the business environment. Why would people want to go to Google? The environment, the way of working, everyone wants to go there. So here organization behavior is governing the action of the company. At the team level, because here it is a group of people. So what has happened? We have already created boundaries. I am a project manager. He is a project leader. We don't talk. Developer, why would we talk to? We have assigned the tasks. He will do it. But the thing is, the face-to-face conversation, which is the key of the agile methods, is important. So now there are people who are suggesting boundaries spanning roles. Here, to allow members of the software team to move across these boundaries, because we have already made certain boundaries. We should not talk, or we are senior, either he is junior, like this, or this is different team. The IT team is not good, like this. So these boundaries spanning roles, these roles may come by itself, or you can assign them explicitly. They can even evolve naturally in certain companies. Sometimes the companies which follow a very professional way, there is a product owner, project manager, and he's taking care of the software architect, developers, the software designers, the people who look for the quality assurance people, then the business who take businesses and see the environment of other businesses. These are business analysts. So these are the roles for boundaries spanning roles. First is ambassador. Now, ambassador is those, they are negotiating with the others about the time and the resources, and they are getting the feedback from the stakeholders who is going to give you the project or who has given you the project. Scout. Now he crosses the team boundary. See, there is an organization, there is a team. So he is crossing the team boundary and he is trying to collect the organizational information. Okay. The information can be inside, it can be outside. So this scouting is all about scanning the external market. What is the new technologies which are coming up, and identifying the relevant activities which is outside the team, and what will be the potential competition for the company. For example, say Facebook and Google. These are two companies. The scout has to work for it. Guard. Now, the name suggests it is protecting the access to the team work product. There are various work product like the documentation, like the software code, etc. So he has to guard. Sentry. Now here the flow of information has to be controlled. That stakeholder is giving, the team is sending. So the sentry is all about controlling the information. Then the coordinator. So certain thing comes up, how to communicate, how to solve the problem within the organization. For example, in order to discuss certain specific design problem or a modeling problem with a group of specialists inside the organization, we need a coordinator. So these are the roles of trying to find out the boundaries spanning or moving across the boundaries which we have artificially created. What is the software team? Team is all about people who are working for a specific goal. So in a very good book, Peopleware, we have heard about software, hardware, firmware. There's so many wares are there. Malware. So D. Marco and Lister, they discuss in this book about the cohesiveness, the oneness, the way people are gelled together in a software team. So here, business team or the team is all about a work being assigned and they are working together to get some result. Okay, they have a common goal. So the main thing is the gellness, that is how people are working together. Are they together? This is missing. But if the team is working together, they are gelling together, the team will be unstoppable. They will get the success. Okay? They will be highly motivated. 1-1 is not 2. 1-1 is 11. In cricket, if all the player plays to their potential, they will surely beat the top ranking teams. So a good team is the team which is acting as a one. So here, DeMarco and Lister, they also said that those teams which are working as a team, actual team, they have good, oneness. They are giving credits to each other. They are respecting. They are solving the problems of others. So they are productive and motivated also. And they have a kind of common goal and a common culture. And then there will be some sense of eliteness. It is not that we are so good, not like that's eliteness, that we are together so we can do whatever is given to us. But there is no way how can we make a gelled team, means a team which act as one. But there are certain attributes which are found in an effective software team. So Miguel Carrasco, he has suggested that if the software team has to be called as an effective software team, we need to establish certain facts, certain thoughts. What are these? Sense of purpose. That is, if the team is agreeing to a common goal, they know that we will transform this product category, will make certain thing which will make us industry leader, and we are doing it for certain purpose. Sense of involvement. Involvement means everyone is involved, everyone's contribution is valued. Someone can be designer, someone can be tester. All the skill set are being used vitally, and their contribution is credited and valued. This sense of trust. That is, we say he's a manager. There is an HR guy. So we need to trust everyone's skills. Everyone is there for a reason. So we need to trust your seniors, juniors, etc. Sense of improvement is because the software engineering and other computer science technologies are ever changing. So we have to improve our work. If you go to Somerville, Rajiv Mall's book or Pressman's, every time they come up with new edition because the field is changing. But most of the time we have seen the teams are not effective and they don't gel well. They don't become one as a team. So Jackman, she said that many of the team, they suffer from team toxicity. That is why the work is not done, the software is not good. There are 5 factors that will make an environment or the team toxic. That is not preferable to work. It can be a chaotic work atmosphere. That is, nothing is planned, everything is chaotic, frenzied. High frustration, because there is always a problem between people. They are fighting, the manager is not good, the team is switching from one job to another like this. The fragmented or poorly coordinated software process, if you decided some process, but you have not properly you are not properly following it. There is an unclear definition of the roles. Who is the program leader, program manager, developer? There is no proper, someone is junior and he is acting as a senior sometime. So clear-cut roles and laid down rules should be there. And if the team is failing most of the time, this will create team toxicity. One will say it is because of them, the other will say it is because of him, like this. That is how team toxicity develops. So, most of the team, as Jackman said, the team are chaotic or work environment is chaotic. How to avoid, how to nullify this chaotic work environment? First thing is that the team should have all the information required to do the job. That is, the major goals and objectives, if they are defined, there shouldn't be modification and changes every time. And give the responsibility, decision making to individuals, to people who are working with you. If there is a process which you have decided, say a software development lifecycle, and it is not working, you have decided a very good software process, but it is not giving product, but you have loosely finalized a software process, software life SDLC, and it is working, go with that. And the team should have a way to account themselves. So technical reviews can be done. Some problem is there, you can go for some corrective approaches, because failure will always be there. But how to get past that problem, how to solve it, this will avoid the chaotic work environment, right? So internal mechanism should be there, and it should be very easy to follow, not very hard. Then because of this, the feedback will come, and then the problem solving can be done, because the only problem is problem. So the only solution is to solve it. Okay. So these are the way to avoid a chaotic work environment. These are the people with different traits, different thoughts, different behavior, different emotions. So our software team often struggles with different people. They have different traits. Okay. Let us talk about Canada, America. There are people from different ethnicity, Nigerian, Indian, Chinese, everyone is working there. They all have different cultures, thoughts, and even every country has, or every school, college, everywhere you see, even in your family, there are people who are extroverts, there are people who are introverts. I'm just talking about different human traits, and this happens in a software industry also. Some team members, they just talk. Some, they don't like talking. Some people may gather information from internet, from disparate facts. They will just learn the broad aspects. Some would want the minute detail. They will try to get the information linearly. Some says that, okay, this is okay. Some say, no, it has to be like this. Some practitioners, they want some specific time. Give me time, so it's 2 months or 3 months. Some says, okay, 2 months, 3 months, okay, let's see. Some people, they work hard to get the milestone from the beginning. And like engineers, they study last minute. That is why we do the last minute reading. So some people who are just working before the deadline. These are the human traits of the members. So this is the human aspects. So we'll be talking about this more. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.